Hi everyone. I think I'm live now. Sorry, it's a little bit late. Yeah, it's been a bit of a busy evening so far, so I need to come into a bit of the being mode myself from rushing around. Um, I hope you can all hear me okay. Any problems with the live stream, let me know. It's been a while since I've done one, so yeah, let's see how it goes tonight. I'm planning on doing a shorter practice of about 15 minutes if I can keep to that, um, and to kind of do a slight variation on a mindful breathing practice, which I sort of felt inspired to do recently, which is kind of having a sort of flexible attention, and I'll explain that a little bit more um, in a moment. I'm just setting up the timer here so that I can keep to the time roughly. Yes, so what I thought I'd do is experiment a little bit with this idea of um, having something in the foreground of our attention and something in the background of our attention, and shifting between the two, and also within that perhaps a sense of being um, another way of looking at that is perhaps of being quite strongly focused and having a more relaxed focus. So that's what I thought we could um, play with tonight. However, if you're fairly new to mindfulness meditation, that might sound all a little bit strange, and you might just want to simply focus on following the breath. So do feel free to kind of mainly stick to just following the breath um, as I go through this guidance. I'm not quite sure, I haven't even thought it through fully myself as to how I'm going to guide this, so it will evolve. And as with all the practices that I guide, it really is up to you how much you want to follow the guidance and how much you might prefer to just kind of go at your own pace and find your own way in the practice. So feeling free to disregard my instructions at any point. Okay, let's begin to set our practice up now, and I'll just start the timer for the practice itself. So yes, establishing your sitting posture now. So coming to sit on whatever support you have available to you that will be most comfortable for you. So chair or cushions or stool. And yeah, just settling yourself in there, becoming aware of the body as you just check into your shoulders and the curve of the spine. Are you slightly slumping? Are you perhaps overly rigidly holding yourself up? So let the focus tonight be on a relaxed, upright posture. If you have back problems, you might want to have a support on your back, and that's fine. Otherwise, seeing if we can have our back freely self-supporting. Resting the hands in the lap or on the knees, the thighs. Just feeling that sense of grounding through the hips and the buttocks and the legs, and then the lower legs and the feet contacting the ground in whatever position you are. So just becoming aware, just allowing your awareness to filter down into the body, and becoming aware of all the sensations there of contact, weight, pressure. upper body meeting different kinds of surfaces, perhaps the cushion that we're sitting on and the floor, the harder floor, whether carpeted or not. And perhaps also being aware of the sensation of different parts of the body resting against other parts of the body. So the hands on the thighs, the armpits and the inner arms perhaps resting alongside the torso, the sides of the upper body, the hair upon the scalp, maybe coming down the back of the neck, around the face, the eyelids in contact with the upper eyelids, in contact with the lower eyelids, and the eyelashes in contact perhaps with the cheek, lips slightly parted or also in light contact with one another. So yeah, just looking for those sensations of contact for a few moments as a way of more fully inhabiting our bodies in this moment. So closing your eyes if you wish to. It's perfectly fine also to have them open and softly focused. And just having a sense perhaps of the tone of your experience right now. Whatever emotions or moods are around at the moment. Might be tiredness, sense of deflation and or maybe relief or energy. There might be a lot of energy in your experience right now. So yeah, just noticing that without any sense of any kind of experience that we're having now as being wrong. It is just what it is. And now bringing your focus of attention to the breath. So just lightly at first, almost like you're approaching the breath, letting your attention settle there. Feeling its movement, all the different sensations of breathing that there are. Stretch movement, contraction, releasing, and the kind of texture of the breath itself in the nostrils or the back of the throat. Temperature. So now I'd like you to consider how much of your attention is on the breath, roughly speaking. Perhaps we could safely say that our attention is never really 100% on the breath. Or maybe it might be at times, but perhaps only when we're really settled into the practice. There's always other things going on in our experience. So in the background of your awareness right now, there might be an awareness of the body. Perhaps where you're sitting, the sensation of contact with what you're sitting on. Or just an overall sense of the body, kind of there in your awareness. And of course, there's awareness of me and what I'm saying. So some of your attention is devoted to listening and processing that. And perhaps there are other sounds coming into your awareness from time to time. Sounds in the other parts of the house or the room that you're in, or outside. And there might be thoughts that are swirling around. So perhaps we might say that 50% or 70% of our attention is on the breath, or anything, it might even be a very small amount of attention at any moment on the breath. So not to get too obsessive about it, but just recognizing that while the breath might be in the foreground of our experience, there might be quite a lot going on in the background that's also occupying our awareness. So just with that in mind, continuing to follow the breath, tracking each in-breath on its journey inwards and all the body sensations that arise as the breath moves in, and then the journey out of the breath on the out-breath. And perhaps having a sense that sometimes you could almost relax around your awareness of the breath and include more of the rest of your experience, which might help if you have a tendency to get a little tense around the focusing on the breath. Just letting that melt and dissolve a little bit without losing contact with awareness of the breath. Being in the wider vessel of your experience, stretching that out to its edges. And then at other times you might want to collect your attention more strongly around the breath. So you're bringing more focus to that experience of breathing. So I'll just leave you for a few minutes, if you choose to experiment with this more or less focus. And of course, feeling free to just follow the breath simply and naturally, whatever way feels right for you. If this kind of broader to narrower focus doesn't really speak to you right now. Now I'd like to ask you to, if it feels okay, to home in on one part of the breath. And I'm actually going to suggest that you might like to choose the nostrils for this, the area around the nostrils. So really creating quite a spotlight of attention in that area. And focusing steadily as you can. And of course, if you can't maintain that kind of focus, it's not a problem. So just seeing if we can just for a short period of time. Strengthen our focus around the nostrils. And then letting that go, and just letting your awareness now relax around that. Perhaps becoming aware more of the whole body, the whole breath, sounds and thoughts, just whatever's arising. Just in a relaxed way, being aware of it all. And now seeing if we can, once again, quite strongly focus on that area around the nostrils. Kind of narrowing that spotlight down. Or if you're having to breathe through your mouth, you could concentrate on that area. Seeing if we can sustain that focused attention on the area around the nostrils and the breath moving in and out. And then letting go again and broadening that awareness out, relaxing around it. Just sitting here, just being here. Body, breath, thoughts, sounds, feelings and impulses. A whole rich tapestry of experience. So, yes, that was about a 15-minute practice. So just bringing yourself back now, gently. Opening your eyes when you're ready. And yes, so I hope that perhaps gave you a sense of some of the ways, different ways to actually could work in meditation. And maybe when you notice that you're feeling quite tight in the practice, you could open out a little bit and play around with that foreground, background, and wider and narrower and more deliberately focused and more relaxed. So there's um, different sorts of polarities that you could explore in between those. Obviously, if you get too relaxed, we're not focusing at all, and we're just drifting off and not really present. And when we're too tight in the practice, we're creating a lot of tension, and maybe there's a lot of judging going on, and when we slip, when our attention drifts off. So yeah, so just seeing a bit like the traditional image of tuning an instrument. Um, so when we tune a guitar or a violin or any other instrument, there's a balance between the strings being too loose and too tight. So next Monday evening will be the actual drop-in at St Catherine's Village Hall. So I'll be sending an email round about that, and you're all, of course, very welcome to come to that. And until then, have a really good week. And if you've got any questions about that practice, which I hope made sense, as I say, I just kind of improvised with that a little bit tonight. But if you do have any questions, let me know if anything was confusing about that. Okay, have a nice rest of the evening, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Good night.